Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Arrow. So let's start talking about this episode. With this episode, we get to see Roy Harper returns. We actually have a lot of characters returning. Roy Harper being the main character, Nyssa, Shadow, Katana. I mean, like, it's just a reunion this episode. But yeah, there's actually a lot of different plots going on. I would say the main plot is about the Calculator and seeing him being kind of the arch nemesis of Felicity, and Roy being controlled by the Calculator. So Roy comes back, becomes Arsenal for a few seconds, and just in time, because Speedy, Thea, is not doing well. The Lazarus Pit is very much affecting her. She's in a coma by the end of the episode, and the only way to save her is this drug that Nyssa has called the Lotus. And that is the other part of the story, is that Nyssa's trying to find this drug called the Lotus, not knowing that Thea's almost dying. She just kind of goes and does that. She's been in a jail for this whole time. Somehow just goes in the end of the episode, says, "Oliver, I know Thea's dying. Here's the Lotus if you kill Malcolm Merlin." So that's the big cliffhanger. And Katana is the one who fights Nyssa because she has the Lotus, sure. And that's pretty much what's going on in this episode. Those are definitely the big plot points. And Felicity also just adjusting to life after her injury and still being the head of Palmer Tech. So that's what's going on. What do I think of this episode? I think there was a lot of missed opportunities here. Now, this is an episode I was really looking forward to because it was the return of Nyssa, it was the return of Roy, and supposedly it was going to be a very centric Thea episode. So let's start talking about Roy first, because obviously that's the big thing that happens here. My favorite part about Roy, I will say, even before you knew it was Roy, but you knew it was Roy anyways, because, you know, television these days, they tell you before the episode airs. So, even before you knew it was Roy, though, he was doing all these flips. He did this amazing flip that scientifically did not make sense. So, it was great, because the inside joke towards the Arrow fandom is that Roy does flips, and that's how he fights. So, it was nice to see the return of the Roy flips, and there's many, many flips in this episode. So that was nice. But it also goes back to the horrible way that Roy left the show, and they're still, like, trying to go through that thread and saying, yeah, gotta leave because people know I'm Roy Harper, and the whole point he left is because everyone thought he was the Arrow, which there's Green Arrow now, and I'm pretty sure everyone thinks that he's the same guy, so I really don't understand why Roy had to leave. Total plot hole, or at least not a good story or excuse to allow Roy to leave. And especially at a time where Thea's not doing well. It's like, yep, gotta go now, bye. Very, very weird. So that I did not like about the Roy story. Also, I thought it would have been more interesting to save the Thea story for me next episode for the Bloodlust, because I think this would have been a cooler episode if it was just like Thea and Roy teaming up. That'd be really cool, showing how Roy has changed, but also going back to costume, and then how much Thea has changed as becoming Speedy. And they don't really talk about it here, because that is where they left it off, where Roy's like, you should be a vigilante, and almost like Thea almost killed him. So like there could have been a little bit more talk about her being Speedy, I felt, and have a really cool team up, which was obviously missed because they had to do the whole Bloodlust thing towards the beginning of the episode. So a lot of missed opportunities there. So even though it was kind of cool to see Roy, at the same time, I don't think they utilized him that well here. Just for the one episode he was in, I don't know if we really needed him in this episode. Now moving on to the main villain, which was the Calculator. Another thing that just kind of felt like should have been another episode or just been this episode. They really snuck in the end that the Calculator is Felicity's father, which I said that would happen. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting. But again, towards the end, they did it. It was just that one reveal. And I thought there could have been a lot more build up to the Calculator in this episode. He just kind of felt like a one-shot villain. Of course, it seems like they'll probably build him up in more episodes, but I thought that was a little weird. So they could have done a lot more with the Calculator. They kind of just snuck him in here. another storyline just snuck in there, but probably the worst out of all of them was the Nyssa story. Now, there was a really cool badass scene with Nyssa getting out of the jail. Really enjoyed that. I'm like, yes, Nyssa's back, and this is why we love Nyssa. And I really do like Nyssa as a character, but another character that is probably a fan favorite, at least a fan favorite for me, and they just underutilize her. They're like, oh, well, you have to kill Malcolm Merlyn, which definitely fits her character, but it's like, how did you know that Thea was dying? And just like I said previously, and you run to the hospital, it's like, I have the Lotus, but yeah, you have to kill Malcolm Merlyn. So, and also Sarah's still alive. You would think she would want to deal with that first. Like, oh, Sarah's alive and she's actually normal. And I know she's time traveling, but still, you would think she would want to, like, think about that first and then realize, oh wait, she's time traveling when she talks to Laurel or something. But no, the first thing, let me go to Oliver and Thea at the hospital to kill Malcolm. So they could have eased that way a little bit better. But I will say I'm interested in the next episode, obviously, to see the Malcolm and Oliver fight, because that's been building up since season 1, and finally they're kind of in a good place because Malcolm's Malcolm and he likes tricking people, and they have a common ground with Thea, but now it's going to be interesting to see Ra's al Ghul fight Oliver again. So could be cool, or it could be exactly like season 3, the bad parts of season 3, we'll see. But yeah, talking about Thea, because obviously she's my favorite character and a big part of this episode. Like I said, I would have liked a little bit more of the Speedy stuff, but I'm interested that they're ending the Bloodlust story, it seems like, and a lot of people are probably going to say in the comments, Thea's so in the grave, and I don't think so, and this is probably more evident that she won't be, because the writers have stated they don't know who's in the grave yet. So if Thea's dying now, she's probably not going to die again when they actually do decide who's going to be in the grave. So I think this thing is a big red herring of Thea dying, which I don't see it happening. Also, just like set things, we see that Thea's still Speedy, and yeah, I don't see this, you know, them killing off Thea right now. So, yeah, but I'm excited for the Bloodlust story to be done, I guess. I'm just disappointed, though, because, like, I feel like they've been doing it for such a long time, and they're going to end it this way. It's like the Oliver story, where we're so excited that Oliver fell off the cliff. How are they going to, you know, get themselves out of that story? And they use, like, penicillin for him to revive. It's like this. It's like, oh, this whole time Thea's had this bloodlust and has been a big, huge story, but how does it happen? It's a serum, you know? Oh, that's how she's alive. Because you know Nyssa's probably going to give it her next episode. I don't know what's going to happen with Malcolm, but Nyssa's probably going to give her the serum and everything will be okay. Now, I thought what they could have done a little bit more with the Bloodlust is show the magic side. Like I've been saying, I really wanted, you know, Malcolm to figure out, wait, this has to do with magic. Maybe we'll do something with magic. But I thought this was a good way for Oliver to grow even more, saying, yeah, I can't make decisions for people. That's not my place. And Thea says it, Roy says it, and I like that. And I will say there was a touching scene between Thea and Roy in the end, saying, oh no, I want you to be happy and I want you to be happy, so let's be happy. So that was a touching scene between those two, even though they could add even more scenes in this episode. Yeah, so overall, there's a lot of plot things they're gonna have to fix in the next couple episodes. Hopefully will be epic and sound better than what they're setting up here, but this was actually a disappointing episode. There's a lot of potential, there's things I liked about it, but it was a bit disappointing this week. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about Arrow this week. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.